everybody, Shavak here, and for this Splinter Cell video I am going to be talking about the Tri-Rotor. Now this is a really cool gadget. I definitely think it's underrated and you guys should definitely give it a try and use it a bit more. The first upgrade on it is the offensive measures, and this equips the Tri-Rotor with a deadly self-destructing charge. Now taking it one step further, adds a sonar scanning pulse, which is in addition to the defense measure. Now let's take this out in the field a little bit, and I'm going to give you guys some demonstrations of its abilities and how well this thing works. So right off the bat here, we have the ability to fly, which is pretty obvious. You go up, you go down, you go left, you right, you go forward, you go back. With the Xbox 360, it's right trigger, left trigger to fly up and down, and your left thumbstick basically helps you strafe and makes you go forward and back. Our other options are to detonate, to fire a sticky shocker, to attract, or to just exit the thing, and to basically, if you hold the exit button, you'll retrieve it. This thing is limited by distance. As you notice there, I went pretty high and it said I was out of the mission field or out of bounds. Right here, this is going to be my first victim, so we're going to stop here and fire a little sticky shocker on this guy, and look what happened. So let's take this thing for a little cruise over here to the right. I'm going to take a look at whatever that is that's flying around there. It looks like some kind of, I don't know, firefly or something. Anyways, we got one more target here, and I'm going to mark him, which is another function. So basically, the right bumper will mark a target and unmark him at the same time. Just for the heck of it here, I'm going to drop one more sticky shocker in this guy's back before we move on. So here we go. Now, while using the Tri-Rotor, you need to be just as cautious, if not more cautious, when flying around with this thing, because people will detect you just as easily as they'll detect you when you're on foot running around a sandfisher. So you want to stay high, you want to stay out of their field of vision, and just be careful. You know, take your time, watch their behavior, watch their movements, and move accordingly. So there's one more guy in the back with a sticky shocker, another stealth knockout, and we're going to take this guy out right here, and there's another one. So this thing is just amazing for reconnaissance, amazing for equaling the playing field, and it's just an all-around amazing little toy. So here's another example right here of how this thing can definitely go wrong if you are not careful. So as you noticed, I put one sticky shocker in him, I didn't take my time, and look how quickly I was dropped. One more time, here's another example. Drop a sticky shocker in the first soldier, and instantly the patrolman on the other side of the tier sees me and takes me out. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys what happens when you fly too far out of range. So let's go to the top of this little sniper post here, and I'm going to hang out here for a second and just kind of keep pushing my limits here and see what happens. Okay. So I've gone too far out at the top here, came back down, so I know how far I can push it. So here we go. Let's try and take this guy out. Doesn't look like we can. Looks like I'm going to try to get a little bit closer, and oh no, I'm out of range and I've lost my Tri-Rotor. So the beauty of this thing is I can just hold my left bumper down no matter where I lose my Tri-Rotor, and I can instantly retrieve it. So there we go. I got my Tri-Rotor back and I'm ready to go again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move up, get a little bit of ground. I've already basically seen everything there is to see from here to where I lost my Tri-Rotor. I know there's no enemies left, and I can pretty much move and not really be cautious at this point. I can just kind of just, you know, run through it if I feel. So I'm going to move up to the base of this this castle here. Basically, I'm pretty close to where I lost my Tri-Rotor, and I'm going to send it out for another little run here. Now, one thing I really want you guys to notice is, notice how the sonar only works when I'm hovering or staying still. Whenever I'm moving, the pulse doesn't emit. So keep that in mind when using it. You know, stop every so often, let that pulse go out, and you know, get your intel, find out where those enemies are. If you don't have your HUD upgraded on the left, this is an especially great tool to use. Maybe even early on in the game if you haven't upgraded your HUD there. So I'm marking targets as I go, which is great because when I'm done using this Tri-Rotor, then I'm going to know where those enemies are right when I start moving around. I'm going to see every step they take with that little dot over their head. So bear with me really quick here. I'm going to go ahead and run a nice hard flank along the right side of this building. I think what I'm going to try and do here is just get up on the other side of this little castle, or this little, I don't know what you would call it. Anyways, this building here. And I'm going to try and get a nice little position where I can hide and deploy my Tri-Rotor again and just let it go around and do some work for me. So let's run this flank up the right side and see what we can do.
Reporting in. Everything's quiet.
And lo and behold, there we go. I found a nice little vantage point, nice little spot here where I can hide in the shadows. So I'm going to hop up here and deploy my Tri-Rotor again. So instantly I'm going to pause here, take a look around. I probably should have let my my Tri-Rotor put a little sonar pulse out just to kind of get a little idea of what I'm looking at. But I do have this one guy over here who's marked, and he looks like pretty much the only guy around. So I look in the helicopter, I don't see anything special. There's kind of a little sunroom here on the right, and if you guys can notice, what I noticed is right down there where my crosshairs is, there is a patrolman. So right off the bat, I never would have known that. We have a patrolman right there. So I'm going to float around through this little skylight here and see what else I can find. And look what we got down there. We have a patrol dog. So there's two things that I never would have known about without this Tri-Rotor. So this Tri-Rotor is just a phenomenal tool for collecting intel and just seeing what's going on the map. Now, this is another function that I really like about the Tri-Rotor. We have this camera here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm out of ammo, and I'm going to detonate this thing. And lo and behold, an achievement is unlocked. 10 gamer score, Tri-Rotor functionality. Alright, so I'm going to play the first part of this little mission here, just as a little recap on the Tri-Rotor and everything we've learned so far. So first of all, I'm going to find a nice little place to hide here so I can remain undetected while I fly around in my Tri-Rotor and go for a little sticky shocker knockouts, or just gather some intel. So first things first, I'm at the top of this ladder here. I don't know what lies behind the ladder or down this hallway, so I'm going to hang out for a second and put a little pulse out and just kind of take my time because I'm very fragile. I can take maybe 1 or 2 shots and this thing is done. So I'm taking it slow, sticking in the shadows. There's an enemy right there. I'm going to mark him, and I'm going to see what's around the corner here. Looks like down low we have another person right there, so I'm going to mark him. And I don't think there's anybody watching him, so I'm going to give him a little sticky shocker treatment. There we go. 1 stealth knockout for the books. And these guys are together here, and I really don't see anyone else, so I'm going to collect my Tri-Rotor, and I'm going to move up and get some ground on these guys. So moving cover to cover, I am slowly progressing up the right flank here, and there's another box I can run up to. As you can see, going straight through here would probably be a bad idea. I would probably alert them. So I'm just going to keep moving along the right here and jump through this nice little window here. And then out the next window. And I'm getting really close here. Almost close enough for a stealth kill. So one more little cover movement and I am in position. So his friend has turned his back on him, so I am going to capitalize on that for a nice clean headshot. So it's not going to take long. His friend hasn't gone far. He has realized that his buddy is now taking a nap. But wait a second, he's not taking a nap. So I'm going to take care of him before he alerts everyone else. And now I'm going to put my Tri-Rotor down because I need to find out where the next group of patrolmen or enemies are. So I'm going to hang tight for a second, get my sonar pulse off. There we go. It didn't really tell me much. Oh, there we go. There's another guy right there. So I'm going to hang out for a second and see if there's anyone else. Yeah, we got another guy over there on the roof up top. So that's 2. And we've got a capture mark over there, so we know that there's a high value target over there also. And I can also see another man up top on the left there in the sniper position. So this is a very dangerous area, a very heavily guarded area. So winding down here, I think I'm just going to go a little kamikaze here because I think we've covered the gist of this Tri-Rotor. So I'll take him out with a sticky shocker, and let's go pay this little high value target a visit. Hello. So that is my coverage on the Tri-Rotor. I definitely feel this is an underrated gadget. I hope you guys give it a chance if you haven't already, and really give it a go. It really works good. It is going to help you with your success in this game. And thank you guys for your views. If you haven't subscribed already, I really appreciate your subscription and your support. And until next time, take care.